Okay, so now what I'm going to make is Toor Dal. It's probably the most basic, everyday dal, which is a lentil. I cook it in a pressure cooker. That saves a lot of time. And this is what I do. I have my dal here. You can use a measuring cup. I just use regular kitchen glass. And I have, oops, I spilled some, but it doesn't really matter. I fill it up to a certain place that I know is the amount I want. I fill it up to this line, which is, I would say, about a cup of dal. Then I'm going to take the dal over to the sink and rinse it with water. I just put some water in there and stir it around. It gets a little, this dal is pretty clean, so it didn't get very cloudy. I mix it with my fingers, and then I just dump the water out. And I'll do it again. If you don't rinse it, then then whatever, I don't know, starchy stuff is left around, powdery starchy stuff left around the dal, foams up, and I don't know why that's bad, but I guess just count it as something that we don't want to eat, so we rinse it. So here we have my spice pan, and I'm going to show you what they're called. This yellow one is turmeric. These little black seeds, I don't know if you can see them, they're mustard seeds. Whole cumin seed. Methi, which is also known as fenugreek. Amchur, which is sort of a sour spice that's made from the raw green mango. Ground coriander. And red dry chili peppers. Dry red pepper and turmeric. Turmeric is what I want right now. I take just about half a teaspoonful, add it to my dal, then I'll take about half a teaspoonful of salt, add it to my dal, and now I'll add some water. For however much dal you put in there, this 1 part dal to 3.5 parts of water. I always get sort of skittish. I feel like it seems like too much water, but if you don't add enough water, it's just no good. So make sure you really 3.5 and maybe a little bit generous on your half. Put it in there and stir it around just a little bit, just so that there's no dry pockets on the bottom of the pan. And then you take the lid of your pressure cooker, which has a rubber gasket in it that makes it seal tightly, and a counterweight on top. Close your pressure cooker. And then I'm going to put my pressure cooker on the stove and cook it. My stove needs lighting, so lighting it. So I'll cook it until the whistle blows, and then after the whistle blows once, I'll lower the heat and I will let the whistle come back twice, so 3 full whistles. Then I'll turn the heat off, and I will finish preparing the dal once the heat is off. Okay, so here we go. Now, when I lift it, there's no sound. That means that the pressure is off. So I'm opening the pressure cooker. The dal is in there. I don't know if you can see this. I'll try to show you what it looks like. There it is. And now what I need to do is cook the I'll cook the spices that give the dal its flavor. Just get a little plate to set this on. Put the dal on this other burner. Cooked dal. Let me make sure you can see everything. Yeah. And I'm going to turn the flame on under my pan, pretty high. And I have some cooking oil. I'm going to cover the bottom. I don't know, I would say it's around 2 tablespoons of oil in there. It can be no strong flavored oil, not sesame oil or olive oil or anything like that. It should be something like corn oil or canola oil, something without a lot of flavor. I think I'm using corn oil right now. And I heat the oil until I start seeing some streaks in it, until it's pretty hot. And what I'm going to add are cumin seeds. I'll start with a teaspoon and then I'll see what it looks like. If I wait for the oil to be hot enough, it should make a little bit of a sizzling sound when I drop the seeds in. Let's see if it's not quite hot enough, not a big deal. You can't really see it. I don't know if you can hear the sound. I'm going to take a look at it. That's what it looks like. Okay. And then I'm going to add some dried red chili peppers. I'm going to take most of the seeds out so that it doesn't get super spicy. Just gives it a nice sort of earthy flavor and a little bit of kick, not too much. So you can do that, you put however much you want, and I put in 2 small dry chili peppers with the seeds dumped out. And I just let it cook until the cumin seeds start to get dark brown, but if you cook it too long they'll get black, and then they're still okay, they just don't taste quite as good. And when they're getting brown, I'm going to add this. I'll tell you what this is after I add it. Let me just show you what it looks like. I'm not adding a lot of that. If I put it in a spoon, I would say it was probably about 1/4 of a teaspoon that I add. It's called hing. It's or I think in English we call it asafoetida, which I've never heard of. I've only heard really known it as hing. So shortly after I put that in, it starts to smoke a little. I turn the heat off. I bring my dal back over, and I just washed my oven mitt so it's not here. What I'm going to do is pour the hot oil with all of the stuff in it into my dal. And then to get the last of the stuff out, I'm going to go into let me see how hot this is. You can pick it up. I'm going to put a spoonful of dal in there. Oh, it's too hot. And dump that. I'll put it back in. Everything is in there now. And stir it around, show you what it looks like. And I'm going to add salt to taste. Now everybody has a different idea of how much salt. I tend to prefer less salt, and everybody can add it, because once you've added too much salt, of course you ruin it. I put about, you can see it in my hand, I think it's about a teaspoon is what I estimate. Put it in, stir it, and dal is done.